For nearly a decade, one of America's most popular cigarette brands ran advertisements insisting that more doctors smoked their cigarettes than any other brand on earth. And doctors, by and large, happily went along with it. How did tobacco companies actually get real medical doctors to help convince millions of people that smoking was good for their health? And how long did it take before anyone in medicine seriously pushed back? This is the true story of More Doctors Smoke Camels, one of the most successful and most misleading advertising campaigns in American history. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how it worked and how it finally fell apart, and you'll pick up 3 advanced English words you'll actually hear in real conversations, not just textbooks. Let's get into it. By the late 1920s, cigarette companies had a real problem. Smoking was hugely popular, but a growing number of people were starting to worry it might actually be bad for their throats and lungs. One company, the American Tobacco Company, found a clever solution: borrow the authority of medicine itself. Starting in 1928, their Lucky Strike brand ran a campaign claiming that 20,679 physicians had said Lucky Strikes were less irritating than other cigarettes. The number sounded impressively exact, almost scientific. What the ads didn't explain was how that number had actually been produced, or what question those doctors had really been asked. And that number didn't appear out of nowhere. Earlier ads in the same campaign, just a year or two before, had cited smaller totals: 9,651 doctors in one version, then 11,105 in another. Each year, the number quietly grew, as if the company were simply asking more people the same convenient question until the total sounded big enough to be believable. That same company ran an equally bold health claim aimed specifically at women that same year: reach for a Lucky instead of a Sweet. The pitch was that smoking could curb your appetite and keep you slim, positioned almost as a diet aid. It worked spectacularly. Sales jumped roughly 300% in a single year, until the candy industry threatened legal action and forced the company to soften the message by 1930. Long before anyone claimed doctors approved of cigarettes, tobacco companies had already learned that a confident health claim, true or not, could move an enormous amount of product. In 1946, a rival company, R.J. Reynolds, took the same idea and pushed it much further with their Camel brand. Their new slogan was direct and confident: more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. The ad cited a survey of 113,597 physicians asked, they claimed, from coast to coast. The real method behind that number was far less scientific than it sounded. Company representatives set up booths at major medical conventions, handed doctors free packs and cartons of Camels, and then, as those same doctors walked out of the exhibit hall, asked them which brand they happened to be carrying in their pocket. It was, in the most literal sense, a rigged question, asked immediately after handing someone the answer you wanted them to give. The doctors, shown smiling in the actual advertisements, weren't real physicians at all. They were actors, dressed for the part, because it was considered a violation of medical ethics at the time for a real doctor to endorse a commercial product by name. The campaign ran for 8 years, appearing in magazines like Life, Time, and the Saturday Evening Post, and on radio programs listened to by millions, including shows aimed directly at children. Some of these ads went well beyond a simple slogan. One especially memorable series followed a fictional father and son, both doctors, across an entire imagined career. As a boy, the son watches his obstetrician father leave a birthday party to deliver a baby. Years later, the father tells him, now grown, "It's all up to you, son," as he decides whether to follow the same path into medicine. Another ad in the same universe shows a 5-year-old girl in a doctor's office cheerfully declaring, "I'm going to grow 100 years old," while a kindly doctor in a white coat smiles beside her, with a lit Camel resting in his hand the entire time. Camel paired this warm, trustworthy imagery with an equally deceptive companion campaign called The T-Zone, claiming their cigarettes were specifically gentle on the mouth and throat, dressed up with just enough medical-sounding language to feel like a real finding rather than a slogan. What made this campaign so effective wasn't just clever advertising. It was that the medical establishment itself was financially entangled in it. Respected medical journals, including the Journal of the American Medical Association and the New England Journal of Medicine, ran cigarette advertisements for decades. One single publication, the New York State Journal of Medicine, printed more than 600 pages of cigarette ads over roughly 20 years. Other brands pushed the doctor angle even further than Camel did. One Chesterfield advertisement from the era depicted a doctor literally prescribing cigarettes to a patient, pen in hand, as though writing out a normal prescription. A separate Philip Morris campaign went so far as to claim that after doctors prescribed their brand to patients with throat irritation, every case cleared completely or definitely improved. A specific, confident medical claim with no real clinical study behind it at all. At the American Medical Association's own annual conventions, tobacco companies set up sponsored smoking lounges, and by 1947, doctors were reportedly lining up at company booths for free cartons of cigarettes. The very institutions the public trusted to warn them about health risks were, in practice, remarkably complacent about one of the biggest risks sitting right in front of them. By the mid-1950s, real scientific research had begun confirming a clear link between smoking and lung cancer, evidence too strong for even the tobacco industry to fully ignore. Their response wasn't to warn consumers. In 1954, the major cigarette companies jointly published something they called a frank statement to cigarette smokers, insisting the new cancer research was concerning but far from conclusive, and announcing they'd fund their own research committee to look into it further. It wasn't really about finding the truth. It was one of the earliest and most influential examples of a strategy other industries would later copy again and again. Rather than deny the evidence outright, simply manufacture enough public doubt to keep customers buying a little longer. The doctor-centered ad campaigns quietly disappeared not long after. By the mid-1950s, the imagery of a smiling physician lighting a cigarette had simply become too hard to sell to a public that was starting to know better. The frank statement itself wasn't a quiet internal memo. It ran as a full-page advertisement in more than 400 newspapers across the country, reaching an audience of roughly 43 million people in a single day, alongside the announcement of a new industry-funded group called the Tobacco Industry Research Committee, whose job, in practice, was to keep the public's confidence intact for as long as possible. The final turning point came in 1964, when the United States Surgeon General released a landmark report formally concluding that smoking causes lung cancer, laryngeal cancer, and chronic bronchitis. It was the moment decades of manufactured reassurance finally collided head-on with undeniable evidence, and it permanently reshaped how cigarettes could legally be marketed in America. Today, some of the original More Doctors Smoke Camels advertisements are preserved and exhibited at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History, drawn partly from a collection of nearly 50,000 original tobacco ads gathered by researchers at Stanford, not displayed as relics of a more innocent time, but as a case study in exactly how far a trusted profession's image can be borrowed and bent to sell something that was quietly killing the very people buying it. Let's lock in today's 3 words. Deceptive, intended to make someone believe something untrue. The packaging was deceptive, making the product look much larger than it actually was. Complacent, quietly satisfied with the situation, without concern for a real problem in it. The team grew complacent after years of success, and their results started slipping. And manufacture, to deliberately create something false to serve a purpose. The politician was accused of manufacturing a controversy to distract from the real issue. Try using one of these 3 in the comments. I'll be reading them. If you understood most of that without needing the subtitles, you're already listening at an advanced level. Subscribe. Next episode is even stranger than this one.